find another reason.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about the NCAA College Basketball Tournament. Of course, it's better known as March Madness. As we speak here on this beautiful Monday, we're down to 16 teams. This time next Monday, we'll be down to 8 teams. If you have any thoughts on what happened the opening 4 days of the March Madness tournament, please feel free to let me know. This week's action, of course, will start on Thursday and go through Sunday. And this week's games will include Gonzaga playing Arkansas, Texas Tech going up against Duke, North Carolina will play UCLA, Purdue will play this year's Cinderella team, St. Peter's, Arizona will face Houston, Michigan goes up against Villanova, Kansas will play Providence, and Iowa State will play Miami. Now, I will say, everybody that knows me knows I don't give a darn about any conference stuff. I pull for teams. I don't pull for conferences. It ain't just that way in football. It's that way in professional sports. It's that way in basketball, baseball, everything. I don't care about conferences. I don't care about divisions. I just pull for my teams. But I will say, for all the people that do like all that conference nonsense, I think now I know how the SEC fans feel in football, because we have North Carolina, we have Duke, and we have Miami that are all left in the Sweet 16 from the ACC. So you have 3 teams of the 16 from one conference. But the rest of the conference is an absolute, complete clown show. But I guess that makes the ACC the best conference in basketball, because we know in football you'll have a really good Alabama team and a really good Georgia team, and the rest of the conference is average at best. But since Bama and Georgia are so good, they're the best conference. So I guess by that logic, the ACC is the best in basketball, because we have Duke, Miami, and North Carolina that are left in the Sweet 16. And I will say that Auburn looked like complete, total garbage in their loss to Miami. So the Auburn team that played back around December and January was not the same Auburn team that finished out the season. For whatever reason, the past month and a half, Auburn just has not looked near as good as they did early in the season. And St. Peter's is this year's Cinderella team. Hopefully they can pull the upset against Purdue and go on to the Elite Eight. But I do think Purdue will beat them. A lot of people have Purdue winning the national championship, and they've got the talent to do it. But I just don't trust Purdue, because Purdue is just, to me, that basketball team that every single year in the regular season, they're top 10, top 5 every year. But then come tournament time, they just collapse. So do they have the talent to win it? Yes. But until I see Purdue not pulling Purdue, I just can't put any confidence in them. And if somebody can explain to me the whole issue with John Calipari, whatever you want to call him, I would love to hear an explanation. Because back when Tubby Smith was there, Tubby Smith won a national championship, and the very next year, the fans wanted him gone. They just didn't like him for whatever reason. And even after he won the national championship, he was still going to Sweet 16s and Elite Eights. He just couldn't win another national championship. John Calipari has not done anything of relevance at Kentucky in a decade. He very rarely even goes to the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, but yet the fans just seem like they're okay with it. And I don't understand the difference in Tubby Smith not being good enough and John Calipari being good enough, even though if you look at what they have done, it's about the same. But Kentucky seems like every year they get in the tournament and they just fall apart. And they're always highly ranked in the regular season because they're Kentucky. But as soon as they play anybody with a pulse in the tournament, they go out. But the fans just seem like they just don't care. And I just do not understand it. And we know how many people fill out the NCAA March Madness tournament brackets every year. And usually by the end of the first day, people have already missed, 5 or 6 games. Especially, look at this year. On Thursday, UConn went down. Iowa went down. And most people had at least one of those two, if not both of those teams, go into the Sweet 16. And they both went out the first day. Now, Friday, for the most part, the favored team won most games. But on Thursday, there was a lot of upsets. But there was one guy that I heard out of all the games Thursday and Friday, he only missed one game. But of the one game he missed Kentucky. But he had Kentucky winning the whole doggone thing. So I guess if you're going to miss one game, you miss a game that in the end is going to cost you 6 games. But I think he was the only person that had Iowa going down, had UConn going down, but he didn't have Kentucky going down. So if you fill the bracket out and you've made it through the opening round and it doesn't look too bad, please feel free to let me know. Gonzaga is the only school in the country that has now gone to 7 straight Sweet 16s. Not Kansas, not Kentucky, not Michigan State, not Duke, not North Carolina, not Purdue, not all the traditional powerhouses, but Gonzaga is the only school in the country that has now gone to 7 straight Sweet 16s, and there are still people out there that do not give Gonzaga any respect. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. Even if you want to claim their conference sucks, it doesn't matter. In the tournament, they don't play their conference, and they still win. So if people can't see Gonzaga's good, they might as well just stop watching basketball because, honestly, you know absolutely nothing if you can't see how good Gonzaga is. They've got a player this year named Chet Holmgren, and if he could put on some weight, he would be absolutely unstoppable. He's about 7 foot tall, but he only weighs about 140 pounds, but he has about a 9-foot wingspan. I mean, he has the longest arms I've ever seen, especially this day in basketball when it's all about shooting threes. He looks like a player you would have seen back in the 80s when we actually had centers in basketball. But he is so tall and so lanky. If he puts on some weight, he'll be unstoppable. In my personal opinion right now, the best 4 teams that I've seen through the opening weekend are Gonzaga, Kansas, Arizona, and North Carolina. Now, of course, it's only the Sweet 16, so what you do the opening weekend means nothing as you head into the next weekend. But in my personal opinion, those are the best 4 teams right now. Although I will say I found it humorous when all these North Carolina fans were complaining about the supposed bad calls in their game against Baylor on Saturday. And it's only humorous to me because anybody that knows me, and I've said this before during football season, knows I never blame a loss on the referees. I just don't. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's an excuse. And I think it's a way for people to not be man enough or woman enough to say, hey, my team got beat, so we fall back on blaming the referees like they can't make mistakes too. Like, it's okay for players to go out there and mess up. It's okay for coaches to go out there and mess up. But referees mess up, oh, they're out to get us. Like, they're supposed to call every game in the history of the world and never make a mistake. And I've never understood that logic. You know, if the players are humans, they mess up. If the coaches are humans, they mess up. But referees are humans, but they can't mess up. But anybody that follows college basketball knows that Duke and North Carolina always get the benefit of the doubt. Anytime there's a close call in college basketball, it always benefits Duke or North Carolina. So now all of a sudden, you have one game where the calls go against them and they want to complain about it. Like, y'all have won 975 games in the past 20 years because of bad calls by the referees that were showing y'all favoritism. And now all of a sudden, this one game, even though you still won the game, you want to complain about referees? To me, that was just hysterical. That made my day on Saturday, to be honest with you. If you have any thoughts on who you think is going to win the whole thing, please feel free to let me know. As I said, in my opinion right now, the best 4 teams are Gonzaga, Kansas, North Carolina, and Arizona. But that means absolutely nothing as we head into the round of the Sweet 16. Texas Tech looked really, really good on Friday. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it was Montana State. And it was. But if you watch that game, in the first 7 minutes, Texas Tech had like 35 points because they made like 7 or 8 straight field goals and 5 or 6 straight free throws. They were making everything. And it does not matter who you play. When you make every shot you take, you're going to win. But then when they played yesterday, they didn't look so impressive, but they did look really good on Friday. If that Friday team shows up against Duke this week, they will undoubtedly, unquestionably beat Duke. And I hope they do because I despise Duke. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.